All right, what's up, fellas? Time for Wake Up Mintzy. Monday, 4 p.m. Still got the Stella Blue out and the Dude Wipes. A lot to get into. Going to be joined by Tyler Moody here in a second. Huge football weekend has come and gone once again. And the college football playoff scene is just madness right now. And you combine the playoff scene with the fired coaches and the coaching openings. I mean, it's just total chaos. It's the wildest chessboard I've ever seen. We're going to get into that. And then recapping some NFL, a lot of stuff to get into on that. We got a Monday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys, the Las Vegas Raiders. Will we finally get a high-scoring primetime game? God knows we're due with all these unders and duds we've been getting after Philly beat Detroit last night. But joined by Tyler Moody, and a lot of stuff here to touch on from Saturday and Sunday, and just all kinds of stuff going on in the football world. Tomorrow night, Barstool After Dark. Stu Feiner, the 15-15-30 challenge. You know that's going to be box office because Stu Feiner always is. I can't wait to see what Tate and the boys got in store. Also, Anus doing their, I believe, 72-hour stream of naming 100,000 things all week. Nick and KB, that crew, and Rudy, just some of the funniest people on earth. So be looking for that.
That's the best name for a show, too.
Anus.
It's just every time you hear it, it's funny.
Another untold story. No, Nick and KB, just the comedic talent level that's in this building just blows me away. Those guys are some of the funniest people ever, and it's just so fun to get to work with them day to day. Mr. Moody, let's get into it. How are you? How was your weekend?
I'm good. I got a little bit of allergies going on, but I can't complain. The new Call of Duty came out, and I caught myself playing a ton of COD this weekend. So I didn't watch as much college football on Saturday as I have the last few weeks, but life's good. I can't complain.
All right, well, let's just hit it right before we get into the college football. Let's just hit it right from the top on this Lane Kiffin saga. Every day it's new twists and turns. I'm getting like a little fatigued following it because it's just like, is he leaving? Will he stay? Who knows, dude? I don't think he knows. But the latest thing was his ex-wife, showed up in Baton Rouge today. I know Lane, I believe, was in Gainesville yesterday and in Baton Rouge today. It's Ole Miss's bye week. Dude, this saga, it's just like, it's never going to end. And, you know, I try to I'm obviously an Ole Miss homer, but I'm trying to look at it from a business perspective. Lane's earned the right to look around at LSU and Florida. Look what he's done in 6 years at Ole Miss. They're 35-3 at home since 2021. They're 10-1 right now. Best season maybe ever for the school. So I get him wanting to, it's a leverage game, unfortunately for our fans. And he's looking around, taking all options. I have no idea what he's going to do. I'd be lying if I said it. I'll hold out hope he'll stay. But this week's the bye week for Ole Miss, and it's just going to be a zoo all week, Moody. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. You just got to hold on tight and enjoy the ride. That's all I can say.
Why else would Lane's ex-wife be looking at homes in Baton Rouge?
I think he's taking. I think he's
together. So
I think he's taking all the offers seriously. And look, Jimmy Sexton's his agent. You know what a spot he's got with Florida, LSU, and Ole Miss all wanting him, and he's just trying to maximize it. And, I don't know how serious he is about LSU versus Florida. I was more worried about Florida the whole time than I was LSU. I've been saying that for months. But I honestly just don't even know what to think at this point. I do know that the thing that's interesting is that Ole Miss athletic director Keith Carter is in a brutal spot because, because it's like Lane, how do you put Lane in a corner? Look what he's done for the school. Do you really say, hey, you got to commit to us or you can't coach playoffs? Can you really have the nuts to do that? Because it's, the timeline, you would think you wait till the end of the season, and which is the Egg Bowl next Friday, and then you got to figure out a decision after that because the playoffs aren't till December 20th. But how do you tell Lane, hey, if you don't stay, you can't coach the playoff after everything he's done for the school to get him there? I mean, I don't know that I'd have the nuts to be able to do that either. But the whole thing is, the longer it drags out, if it gets to the playoffs and Lane's coaching and Florida and LSU, either one of them's not filled, you know what's going on. Because as long as those jobs are open, Lane's their top candidate. And if they wait till December 20th or January 1st, then they can only be doing it for one guy. And, when you look at all these college football jobs are open, I mean, Auburn, Durkin's the interim right now. Maybe he has a shot to get it if they beat Bama. Arkansas is open, Penn State, LSU being open. It's absolutely insane, Moody. And I don't know. It's a tough spot for Ole Miss athletic director Keith Carter to be in after he's just been unbelievable with all the moves he's made, bringing in Kiffin and Beard. But, man, I don't envy him right now.
Last week you said your worry level about Lane leaving was a 7 out of 10. Where's it at today?
I think it's about the exact same because I like, I heard all the same speculation last week. The LSU part's kicked up today for sure because it's just been Florida. But the thing about it that's concerning is like LSU and Florida both don't have a second candidate. They're both just all in to get Lane Kiffin. I don't even know who their number twos are. And so that part of it, the longer it drags out, I don't know, man. Can't I just like enjoy? Can't we just enjoy the fact that Ole Miss is 10-1 and having the best season in school history? And the atmosphere Saturday night was the wildest I've ever seen at a game at Ole Miss. It was unbelievable. And getting revenge on Florida from blowing that playoff game a year ago. Kejuan Lacey just went full belt to ass. We saw Lane give him the belt after the game. 240-something yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, I'm trying to just enjoy the best season in school history because we've waited forever for it. But it's just, this is the Lane Kiffin experience, though, I mean, you know what you signed up for. And I don't even totally blame him. He's just using his leverage. It's business. But I have no idea what's going to happen right now. I mean, my worry's still about a 7.
And Lane loves the extra attention, too. He's one of the more egotistical coaches in college football. He loves that extra attention. I think there's a part of him that may drag this out for a little bit just because he kind of loves that. You know what I mean? He's always been that guy. He's not afraid of the spotlight. He loves the spotlight. So I think a little extra attention is something that Lane might cherish a little bit.
Yeah, well, look, he's just playing it out business-wise, too, and he's got Jimmy Sexton as his agent. No man could ever have more leverage than when Florida, LSU, and Ole Miss all want you. So he's maximizing that, which is, if you look at it from a business perspective, that's exactly what he should do. It's just there's so many feelings involved when it comes to alma maters and donors and everything. But like I said, just got to hold on tight, enjoy the ride because the freaking Ole Miss Rebels are 10-1, damn it. And I'm going to enjoy that on Victory Monday. And that was a hell of, I don't know, did you watch any of that Saturday night?
No, I didn't. I did
Okay, man, that was one of the most intense football games. I thought Florida might quit after that Kentucky effort. They did not. They came out and played their ass off. Florida was winning 24-20 at half. Ole Miss pitched a shutout second half. And literally the difference in them losing 24-17 last year in Gainesville and then winning this year 34-24, it's all Kejuan Lacey and the offensive line being better. It was a similar game to last year, and Ole Miss could run the ball this year, and they couldn't last year. And that's literally what won the game, and it was at home. But either way, man, freaking awesome. 10-1. Ole Miss sitting in Alabama. Other stuff to get it to. Oklahoma, Bama. What a win for Oklahoma and Brent Venables. I mean, you go on the road and win in Knoxville and Tuscaloosa. That's insane. And the Oklahoma defense, they were flying around like banshees in the second half. They were able to pull out a huge 2-point win, and now Oklahoma's had like the hardest schedule in the country, basically, or one of them with Florida. And now they're 2 wins away from the playoffs with Missouri and LSU at home. So they're feeling great. And now all of a sudden Alabama has to win the Iron Bowl to make the playoffs, Moody. And yep. Auburn, Durkin, that game being at Auburn always fights them at home. That's no sure thing. Bama's running game's falling off a cliff, and it's putting so much pressure on Ty Simpson. And when their offense is off, and it's kind of been off their last 3 games, I mean, they're vulnerable. It's not the Nick Saban physical Alabama team anymore that beats you up front. And so kudos to Oklahoma. I mean, if they make the playoffs with the schedule they've had, just unbelievable. And then other Saturday stuff, man. So one of the gotta pay my respects to Kirby Smart here for a minute because that Texas-Georgia game was 14-10 Georgia, early fourth. Georgia scores go up 21-10. Moody, Kirby Smart. I don't know how you could ever expect this or be prepared. You're up 21-10 in the fourth at home. Your defense is playing well. One of the wildest ballsy onside kick times I've ever seen. I mean, how could you ever see that coming? Ever in that spot if you're Texas. And Georgia kicks an onside kick up 21-10 in the fourth, gets it, and they just end up winning 35-10. But what a call by Kirby Smart. I mean, if you're Sarkisian, Texas, like how can you be prepared for that ever in that situation? Just nuts.
Yeah, Kirby's always showed that he has the biggest set of balls in the country. Like he's not afraid to do risky things and take some chances. I mean, he's one of those guys that wants to win at all costs, and he's willing to risk losing the game to make sure he can get a win. Up 21-10 though, with your defense essentially shutting down Arch Manning is That's ballsy.
I mean, just unbelievable. That's what I'm saying. Like, even like you
Yeah.
look back at famous onsides, like the one Sean Payton ran at the half of the Super Bowl. Like, you could see
That's
that
most
when you're
famous.
down 4 and Peyton Manning's getting the ball. You can't see one coming when it's 21-10. You're leading 11-0
Yeah.
in the fourth.
Agreed.
I mean, you literally that one just I would have never look. Props to Kirby for doing that. And now Georgia, it's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. I mean, every year they won the SEC championship last year. Everybody's acting like they're falling off. And now with Bama's loss, Georgia sitting, has such a good chance to. I mean, Bama still has a tiebreaker on Georgia because they beat them, but Georgia has a shot to make the SEC championship now very, very easily again. And it seems like every year they're in Atlanta. But they're a lock for playoffs, too. They still got Georgia Tech, though, in Atlanta, which will be a hell of a game. But they're done with the SEC at 7-1. And then we got to talk about the Texas A&M game. You're down 30-3 at the half and come back and win 31-30. I mean, that says, look, people could say whatever they want about how it was an awful first half, because it was. Everything went wrong. Marcel Reed fumbled through multiple picks. But that says a lot about that team and that locker room to be down 30-3 and go in at half and not quit. Because that's a score that, they came out and they whipped South Carolina's ass in that third quarter. They outgained them 240-49. And that thing was 30-24 like 12 minutes into the third. And that says so much about Elko and Marcel Reed and that team to be down by 27 and not blink. I mean, that really does. And Elko signed that big extension to make him one of the top 5 paid coaches in college football before the game. And, the second half adjustments they made, you got to give him credit. And Shane Beamer, Brandon Walker's been hard on him. He choked that game. There ain't no doubt about it. I mean, and especially they had a 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, and they just ran it up the middle twice to their running back when you got Lenore Sellers, who's one of the best running quarterbacks in the country and hard to bring down. Like, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but got to give A&M credit. Like, yeah, they only won by 1 against a bad team, but the way college football works, you're going to get tested at some point in the season where games aren't going to go your way, and it's about pulling it out. And we saw that with Indiana at Penn State last week. Now we saw with A&M against South Carolina. The good teams find a way, even when it's not their day, and A&M did that. Credit to them.
Yeah. We were kind of shit talking Texas A&M in the Discord while we were gaming, because we were checking the score, and I had it on my TV and looking over, and I was like, man, this is A&M's throwing their season away right now. And then came out of the half and just absolutely dominated that game, 31-30, the final score. I mean, that could have been one of the biggest mistakes in Texas A&M history if they lose that game, because that's a very, very winnable game against South Carolina. Mitch, chat wants to know if you have any words that you want to add to the anus list. I'll bet you have one that they have missed. You have any words for anus?
Just any one word. Let's see, I'm trying to think of something random. God, the anus guys are so creative. I don't know. We'll go Coushawn delay, maybe. Just something Cajun that they're not going to have ever said.
Okay. I'll throw percolate on there. See if
percolate?
We'll go Coushawn delay and percolate.
Coushawn delay and percolate. But I'm going to be on that stream
right.
at some point. That thing's going for 72 hours. So I feel like everybody in the office is going to be in there at some point, and I'm glad to come up with some random words and support it. It's going to be hilarious. And then Moot Can't Sleep's got a big thing with it Wednesday night, too, a sleepover. That'll be a lot of fun. That's going to be all night with that stream. Moot does a damn good job. I'm excited about the 15-15-30 with Stu Feiner tomorrow night, too, after dark, Moody.
What are you guys doing? Because I understand what 15-15-30
I'm guessing
means.
it's challenges with 15-15 and 30 something.
Yeah. I thought
but we usually have an after dark meeting on Monday morning, and we didn't have it today because Lucas and Jack were tied up with other filming stuff. Right. So we'll find out more tomorrow, but can't wait to see
Chadwick Moffitt was saying, Mintzy, my guy, USC did not cover. What do you have on the USC?
No, and the USC thing, the weather being bad got me off it a little bit when I saw it was raining, because I was big on USC all week. But when I saw the weather was bad, I kind of bailed on that game. And I feel bad for our guy Chad because I gave that out. But I wish I could have texted him or said something to him, because when I saw it was raining, that changed my opinion on that game, because you don't want to play Iowa in a rain game. But, yeah, I let him down. There's no getting around it. And I hate that. I mean, it was.
The question is, did everything else hit Chadwick? Because if everything else didn't hit, obviously it's not as big of a deal.
I hit my morning. I started out the day good. I had Taylor Green over rushing for Arkansas against LSU, and I had Northwestern plus 10 against Michigan. But then, man, Moody, I had Northwestern plus 335 money line. I thought I was about to sting Michigan there. I lost 24-22 on a field goal at the gun. I thought they had a real shot to win that game. I ended up taking Ole Miss minus 11, didn't cover that. So I had a decent start to the day. But, man, these boards, these gambling boards, and Moody, you and I talked about it Sunday morning. Dude, you get to this time of year, man, it's hard to pick these games. Like, you get to this point of the year, man, it's not the same as it is the first 4 weeks. It's tough.
I ran into that in the middle of baseball season, like towards the end. And baseball is a little bit different because it's every single day. It's 162 games. But we talked about it Sunday morning. Like, I'm just a little, I guess, gambled out. It's just waking up, making sure you got to have something. I don't know. I mean, I love doing it, obviously, but I think there does reach a point in every season where you're just like, man, do I really have to go fire at the board today? And I think with football, you feel more obligated to need to fire every single day because it's only, usually once a week. Obviously, you bet on college football too, so it's Saturdays and Sundays. But I do think there comes some gambling fatigue. Do you guys get that, chat? Do y'all get any gambling fatigue? Because I'd say I'm feeling it a little bit right now, and I think my results over the last 2 weeks have showed it as well. I had back-to-back losing weeks. Granted, I only lost like half a unit last week, but this is my worst run so far in probably like a year and a half.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there are a few things on it. The board gets tougher, and so I'm just trying to get it where I'm betting like 2 or 3 games instead of like 7 or 8 because it's just I'm trying to be selective, but kind of the same thing what you're saying. Also, big problem lately. I was so hot with those same game parlays. I hit like 4 of them early in the year. All these NFL games are going so far under in prime time, nobody's hitting any parlays because nobody's hitting any over props. I mean, look at these, like all these primetime games lately. The Broncos 10-7 over the Raiders, the Steelers Chargers last Sunday, Lions Eagles, another one last night. Pats Jets went under. I mean, every game's going under, and so it's so hard to hit these big same game parlays when nobody's going over on anything. But we'll get to that. I think we may have a game that's going to cure all those prop problems tonight, the Cowboys and the Raiders, Moody.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to a Monday night parlay tonight because I'm ready for that one. Let's see, what else do we have here in the chat? Grant Wagner was saying the Falcons are dead. Season is over. Sad day. Mint, you and I both picked the Falcons to have a chance in the NFC South. I picked them to win the NFC South. Obviously now with Penix going down, Drake London looks like he's going to miss next week. I would say the season is indeed over for the Falcons.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you look at it, they have 3 wins, and yet you still think like you would think when everybody's healthy, they're good for a 3-win team. They had all those kicking problems that cost them 3 games. Now Penix is hurt. Like you said, London's gone. I think it falls back on Raheem Morris. I think he's not a good head coach. And I think that's the problem, and they're going to have to get a new coach in there. I still think the future, if Penix is healthy with Drake London and Bijan, and that defense is actually pretty damn good. Like, I don't think they're like that far off. It's kind of crazy that they're only 3 wins when you look at the talent on the team. But yeah, with Penix getting hurt, Kirk Cousins is washed up. You can tell that he's getting paid $35 million. And but yeah, and then when London's out, they don't have a passing game because they don't have a number 2 receiver. So yeah, I think they're in trouble. I actually think the Saints are going to beat them next week in the old Dirty South rivalry game. But yeah, the Falcons, Moody, if you thought about it, with Falcons' most disappointing team in the NFL this year, I think. They're in a weak division. Carolina's taken advantage of it, swept them. They're 6-5. But, man, it's hard to think what might have been for Atlanta. I mean, they missed that extra point against New England. We remember the week 1, they missed that field goal against Tampa. They easily could be 6-4 right now. And, it's kind of crazy that they are where they are, to be honest. They should have won yesterday. I mean, they were rolling that game yesterday till Penix got hurt.
Yeah, I'll see your Falcons being the most disappointing team, and I'll raise you the Cincinnati Bengals just because they lost Joe Burrow. But for the most part, Atlanta's had everybody healthy. And so I think you're right that when the fact that their season's gone the way that it has, it probably has been more disappointing because they played in a very weak division. But I think Cincinnati being 3-7 as well, you have to throw them in the conversation for the most disappointing seasons.
Got to add the Washington Commanders in there too, off that NFC Championship.
playoff
I mean,
team
it's
last year.
but they've had one of those years where you get a year from hell where everybody gets hurt and everything goes wrong, and that's what's happened to them. Their weakness before the year was their receiving core depth, and McLaurin not being healthy, and then Jaden hadn't been healthy. It's just been a nightmare. But I want to talk about while we're talking NFL. I'll tell you the story we got to talk about, Moody. That's Sean Payton. How the hell are Denver 9-2? And what a win yesterday, beating the Chiefs at home 19-16, and they're 7-2 in one-score games. And I feel like every single week I watch the Broncos, I see the same game. You know, their offense starts slow and they muck it up, but their Vance Joseph and that defense is so freaking good that it keeps them in every game. And Bo Nix, whether it's with his legs or his arm, man, when the game's on the line, he always finds a way. We've seen him scamper for so many big first downs running. Yesterday, he made a huge 3rd and 15 throw. Then he made a big 3rd and 6 throw to Sutton. And then he hit that bomb up the left sideline to Troy Franklin when the game was on the line, dude. He steps up. You know, I don't know what happens the first 3 quarters, but in the fourth quarter, the dude's money. And now, you know, with that win, you're 9-2, and you have a head-to-head win over KC, who's 5-5. You got a 3.5 game lead. The Chargers got absolutely murdered at Jacksonville, and they don't have an offensive line right now, so they have 4 losses. So you're a game and a half up on them. Man, this thing's Denver's to lose now. I mean, that was a statement win. And you look at the Sean Payton Denver era. He comes in there having to deal with Russell Wilson's $250 million contract. He hated Russ. They didn't get along. Wilson couldn't run his offense. You basically had to throw away year one. Salary cap hell was so freaking bad after Russ, you had to draft a quarterback. You couldn't get one in free agency. He goes and he takes Bo Nix, 12th overall, who so many people said there's no way this dude can be an NFL quarterback. But he is like a point guard distributing the ball in Sean Payton's offense. Sean Payton took a risk on him. He started the year slow last year, ends up getting him to 10-7 at playoffs as a rookie. Now they're freaking 9-2. And we're not even talking about, like, you know, we all know Sean Payton's a Super Bowl winning coach and done a good job. To me, the fact that he's done this in the AFC West with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, that's like the hardest division in the NFL. And to go, you know, win with a Bo Nix and do this, it's one of the best coaching jobs I've ever seen, period, in sports. Unbelievable what he's done. And you got to give him his roses today. Unbelievable.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I think they really deserve it. And I was huge on Kansas City going into Sunday. I thought the fact that Denver won that game. I mean, look, they've beaten the Eagles and the Chiefs this year. Those are 2 massive wins. I know the rest of their schedule has been super soft, but those are massive, massive wins, and it shows that they can beat the best teams in the NFL. And if you look at their schedule down the stretch, I mean, they have a legitimate chance to be the 1 seed in the AFC. They got the Commanders, Raiders. They do have to play the Packers, but that's at home. Jags, they play the Chiefs and Chargers again. They could easily lose just 1 game down the stretch. I look at Green Bay and Kansas City being their 2 toughest games remaining. This is probably, quite possibly, the number 1 seed in the AFC going into the playoffs. If you have to go 2 mile high to try and knock off Sean Payton and Bo Nix in the playoffs, I think that's a tough task for any of these teams in the AFC.
I mean, I can't believe we're sitting here talking this late in the year and we're talking about the Broncos and Pats fighting for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, just like Drake May and Nix in their second year. Just unbelievable.
And the Pats, too. Yeah.
Yeah. Pats and then
for some reason, I can't get myself there on the Pats. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't see them on the level that I see these other teams. I don't know why. Like, I don't think they're a legitimate contender. But Drake May's playing incredible football. I'll give him a lot of credit. Dude's balling. Travion Henderson did his thing against the Jets. But I just do not think that is a Super Bowl contending team yet.
Well, looking around the rest of the league, some other stuff I want to touch on. Did you see the Shadur Sanders debut? It was tough.
I watched all of it. I was locked in. Shout out to NFL Red Zone. I saw every play. I thought he looked absolutely terrible. Made 1 good throw, made 2 good throws. But yeah, he wasn't. And people are saying, look, he didn't get first team reps. He wasn't prepared. This is the NFL. And just last week, there was a clip of him saying, I'll be ready when I get a chance. He didn't look ready at all. They were up 16-10. They ultimately lose the game 23-16. Took sacks, few 3-and-outs, threw an interception, had another interception that got dropped. He's still a long ways away from being a viable NFL starter. Granted, I don't know that anyone is going to be able to lead the Browns. I mean, look what Joe Flacco did with the Browns, and look how much better he's been with those receivers and a legitimate play caller. Not that Stefanski's not, but just with the weapons that he has in Cincinnati. So I'm putting 60% of the blame on Shadur, 40% of the blame on the Browns.
That's fair. Some other stuff to touch on. Aaron Rodgers hurt
What'd
his.
you think about him? Did you see him? What'd you think?
I mean, he did the one thing I will say. He gave his receiver a chance to make a play in the end zone on that bomb on third down on that last drive. He actually threw a pretty good ball on that one. That was a tough play for the receiver, but he made one really good throw to give his receiver a chance to tie the game. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't think he's ready. But I think it's an overall systematic thing too. But we'll see. I mean, I wonder if he's going to get a chance going forward because Cleveland's certainly way, way out of it, to say the least. Bunch of other NFL stuff to touch on. I want to ask you because you're the Jaguars guy. That dude, what an effort by the Jags! Just murdered the Chargers. I mean, Justin Herbert had like 5 fantasy points, and I can't figure out the Jags, dude. I mean, I just have no idea if they're good or not. But that was definitely their best effort of the season.
This is what they did 2 years ago. Whenever I was like, oh man, they might be a legitimate threat to win the AFC, and they had a chance. Then Lawrence got hurt down the stretch. Like, they will show up some games and look so damn good, you think that they could beat anybody. And then Trevor Lawrence will have awful games where he turns it over and they just look like a very average NFL team. That was a great win against the Chargers. I mean, beating them 35-6 says a lot. I I just they're super inconsistent. If they can find some consistency, I think that Trevor Lawrence can lead them through what I believe to be a fairly weak AFC at this point. So, I mean, I think they're a legitimate threat. A minute ago, Zach Holt said a bet to look at is the Jags to win the AFC South. Look at the Jags schedule and the Colts schedule the rest of the way. And the Jags, who almost beat the Colts, still play them twice.
I'm gonna
Who
look that up on.
always beat the Colts. Always beat the Colts.
I'm looking that up on
So
DraftKings.
I picked the Jags to win that division to begin the season. I do think they're a really good football team when Trevor Lawrence doesn't turn the damn football over. But that is a legitimate issue with them and with him. So, but it was a game on Sunday that gave you a lot of confidence. I know a lot of players were out for the Chargers, but the same thing can be said about the Jags. They were missing their top 2 wide receivers, and Trevor Lawrence put together a decent game, but the defense was what really impressed me in that one. They got after Justin Herbert. They made his day really tough. I think maybe that speaks more to the injuries on the Chargers offensive line than it does the Jags defense. But I think the Jaguars right now, you give me the Jags and the Patriots heads up, I'm taking the Jaguars to win that game.
Jaguars plus 390 to win the AFC South right now on DraftKings. That is interesting because the Colts are at KC next week.
Let me see. I just had the Colts schedule pulled up. It's not easy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know they're at
Get back to
KC
it.
next week, and KC's a 3-point favorite.
Colts the rest of the way have Kansas City, Houston, Jacksonville, Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Houston. Depending on what
tough.
Houston team shows up, I mean, those not a single easy game down the stretch for the Colts. I could easily see them losing 4 of those games. I think Kansas City whoops their ass on Sunday.
I do too.
But maybe I'm just a Kansas City believer.
No, I still believe. I'm not. I'm not done. I'm not done. Even at 5-5, I'm not done.
I mean, let's think. Let's say they split with Houston. Let's say they split with Jacksonville and Houston. That's 1 loss to Kansas City, 2 losses to the Texans, 3 to the Jags. What do you think? I think I like Seattle better. That game's in Seattle. I'll take Seattle there. I think the 49ers could beat them. That's 5. I could see them going 2-5 down the stretch. I legitimately
I could
believe
too. No, I could too. And look, I agree. Man, I think the Colts are good, but that's a tough schedule. Having to play Seattle and San Francisco and KC is just brutal. So yeah, I'd take a look at the Jags plus 390. I think that's a good price. I've definitely heard worse bets. I got another future I want to bring up today too.
Okay, real quick.
right.
The Jags schedule: Cardinals, Titans, Colts, Jets. They do have the Broncos, Colts again, and then the Titans. I mean, Jacksonville could easily go 5-2 during that stretch. I would say lose 1 to the Colts, lose to the Broncos.
Are they 2 back
Flip
right
things.
now or 1?
I think they are 2 back.
They have 4 losses and the Colts have 2.
Yep, correct.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you another bet we got to bring up. KC 10-1 Super Bowl, Moody. What do you think?
I don't hate it. Look, I get that everybody else has sold all of their Kansas City stock. I just cannot do it. That defense is still really freaking good. That is a damn good defense. I mean, they're shutting down most of the teams they're playing. They still have Andy Reid. They have Patrick Mahomes. All their weapons are pretty much healthy. They're going to get Pacheco back. Like, I think when the games start to legitimately matter in the postseason, Kansas City is the one team you do not want to see. Granted, the Chiefs got to get themselves in, so they got to take care of business in the regular season, but I think they will do that. I just cannot be the one to sell my last stocks on Kansas City when we've seen them be the damn team for year after year after year. I'm still on them. At 10-1, I think this is the best value you're ever going to get
Exactly.
on Kansas City to win the Super Bowl, ever.
No, I agree. And I think when you look at it, like right now, they're minus 220 to make the playoffs. Look, they're not in it right now, but I think the Chargers have an ingredients for a collapse, man. Their offensive line right now,
Yeah.
what you saw, I feel like it could really go sideways for the Chargers. They still got to go to Denver and to KC. And I just think they're in trouble because they can't block. I mean, it's just their offensive line's that bad. And, when I look around the league, I mean, Buffalo, you're going to get the wild cards. There's 3 of them. New England or Buffalo, one of them, those two are both getting in. Right now, Jags and Colts are both in. And then you have Broncos, Chargers, and the AFC North. AFC North's probably only getting one team in, whoever wins that division, Steelers or Ravens. So I think there's a path for KC to end up getting in. And when you look at what happened 2 years ago, when they had to go on the road to Buffalo and Baltimore, and they did it, look, they always have a different gear come playoff time. I mean, you look at it Mahomes is 1-4, 1-5 against Josh Allen regular season and 4-0 in the playoffs. And I think at 10-1, you'd be a fool not to look at it. That's my thoughts. And also, let's say KC is the 6 or the 7. You're looking at going on the road to the Pats or the Colts. I mean, I think in a playoff game, you'd still like KC in those matchups. Those teams that don't have that playoff experience.
I'll take Kansas City over New England 100 out of 100 times at this point, personally. I mean, here's the Chiefs' schedule down the stretch. They have the Colts on Sunday. They beat the Colts. I think you start to really believe down the stretch. They get Dallas. That Cowboys defense, no chance in hell that Cowboys defense is stopping Patrick Mahomes. Then the Texans, that'll be an interesting game because Houston right there at 5-5 as well. They're battling for that final playoff spot along with Kansas City and Baltimore. Whoever wins that game, they obviously now have the leg up. Then you get the Chargers, Titans, Broncos at home, and then you finish off your season with a cakewalk in the Las Vegas Raiders. So let me ask you this. Who do you think between Baltimore and Kansas City has the better chance to make the playoffs?
Ooh, Baltimore's 5-5 now.
Baltimore gets Cincy twice, the Jets, Steelers twice, Patriots and Packers.
I'd say Baltimore has a better chance because I just don't believe in Pittsburgh that much. They get them twice, but I think they're both going to make it if you want the honest truth. Rodgers hurt his wrist yesterday. I think Baltimore's going to run them down, and I think KC's going to make it too. Who do you think has a better chance? I literally think both of them make it.
I think the schedule is slightly easier for Baltimore, but I think Kansas City is the more complete team. So I'll go Kansas City still. But maybe
I just don't think. Like I said, I just think Pittsburgh's not. I don't think Pittsburgh's that good though. Man, I think Baltimore.
Yeah, no, they're not. Especially if Rodgers is not going to be playing. I mean, we'll see. It's his non-throwing wrist. It's just a fracture. Rodgers, tough ass dude. Perk Rodgers. Maybe he steps up here at the end of the season, but it feels like things are going the wrong way for the Steelers. But I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh beat Baltimore one of those 2 games, just because it's a rivalry game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that would not surprise me at all either.
Well, we'll give Pittsburgh credit though. They fixed their defense, dude. They did. We all saw what happened at Cincinnati in that first game. They made some moves. They put Jalen Ramsey at safety. They got Kyle Duggar from the Pats, and their defense is playing well again. I mean, they held Cincinnati. What a revenge effort! Held them to 12 points yesterday. And the defense played well against the Chargers too. They just couldn't move the ball. So I don't know, but I still lean Baltimore of those.
I'll take Kansas City in that spot. I don't think Houston has enough to get it done. That defense has played great, but I don't think they can beat Kansas City.
Let's talk about the Rams-Seattle stuff.
We got a couple questions for you real quick before we get to that. Mintzy, are you coming to the Aussie Millions in Melbourne?
I'm not. I'd like to do it one year. I'd really like to go 1 year and go to the Australian Open, but I can't swing that in January, unfortunately. That's on my bucket list, though.
Stone Papa Smurf says, as long as Christian Gonzalez and Drake May are healthy, Pats are going to the AFC Championship.
We'll see. I think both the Pats, I don't know. I mean, they're really good. They're good. I believe in them more than Moody does, but, I mean, if they're like the 2 seed hosting KC as a 7, do you really feel good?
No chance. Because who is going to win one-on-one for the Patriots against Kansas City?
I mean,
It's not happening. And
yeah.
then and then I'm going to spy on Drake May and I'm going to take away his legs. I think Kansas City's defense is good enough to do that. I think Kansas City might kill uh, New England, to be honest with you. I think that is a horrible, horrible matchup. I think Denver kills New England. I think those are the two worst matchups in the AFC for the Patriots. I think the Patriots could probably possibly beat the Colts. I think the Ravens defense isn't good enough to deal with Drake May. But like those two, Kansas City and Denver, I think are nightmare matchups for New England personally.
Well, it's going to be a crazy interesting playoffs with the Pats and
Yeah,
Broncos. And
yeah.
when you look at the Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs, who have been the powers in the AFC for years, all of them could be going. Well, the Ravens still could get a home game if they win the division, but right now it looks like the Bills and Chiefs are going to be heading on the road. But it's gonna be fascinating. All right, we got to get to the Seattle Rams game because Sam Darnold came back, the 4 picks. Rams defense, you and me have been talking so much about the Rams and the Super Bowl. We've been on that since before the season. But as good as Stafford's been, this defense is the story, man. And the thing with Darnold, we saw it last year late in the year. If you let Darnold have time, he picks you apart. But the Rams were able to get pressure on him yesterday, make him move his arm slots and make him uncomfortable. 4 picks. Defense, spectacular effort winning that game.
I mean, it's exactly what we said it was. The Rams defense is going to be the reason that they're one of the best teams in the NFL this season. And Sam Darnold has played good, but he is not elite. He's got an elite receiver in Jackson Smith and Jigba who makes a
No
ton of
doubt.
great plays. But outside of that, this is a Seattle team that I've said it week after week. I still don't trust them. I picked the Rams in this game. I love the Rams in this game. I went Rams money line. I did not go the -3, so I was good on that. I took Puka Nacua 5+ catches and Rams money line. Parlay those together to get good odds. But I love the Rams in this spot because of their defense as much as anything. And I think their defense, if they're going to beat Philly in the playoffs, they're going to knock off Seattle in the playoffs. It's going to be because their defense, and they have to keep Matthew Stafford upright. And I think the Rams are capable of doing that. And they're the best team in the NFC, in my opinion.
Well, that win yesterday was so big because if they're going to make a Super Bowl run, they need to win the NFC West and not have to go on the road 3 times in a row.
Yep.
And then we got to talk about in Lions-Eagles last night. Philly, man, that Philly defensive effort last night was, I'm talking spectacular. The way, especially up front. I mean, those Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, they were all over Goff. I mean, you hold the lines down like that, you don't see that. And I thought their effort was just incredible last night. Goff was like 14 for 35 passing. They're affecting his timing. They were tipping balls. Jahmyr Gibbs had a great game through the air, but didn't get any going on the ground. And they fed A.J. Brown a little bit, got him a little less unhappy. But Eagles 8-2, as are the Rams. But the Eagles are in that weak division, and the Rams still got to go to Seattle. They've got a tougher schedule down the stretch. Granted, they've already played the Niners twice. But I don't know. The Rams, you don't want to have to go to Philly in the playoffs. I know the Rams, almost won there last year in the playoffs, and they should have won there early this year when that field goal got blocked when they had that big lead. But Philly, they're doing it in an unsexy way because the offense hadn't been humming on the same levels last year. But, man, your defense is playing like that. Jalen Phillips' move's really paying off, too. He got a big sack last night. I mean, definitely got to take him serious for sure.
There's no doubt. Look, it's them and the Rams in the NFC. I think we deserve to get them in the NFC Championship at the end of the year, assuming everybody makes it there healthy. They feel like the best 2 teams in the NFC. If you wanted to tell me right now that you think the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl again, I wouldn't dispute it because they can beat you in every way imaginable. That defense is so damn good. They run the ball with Saquon. I know A.J. Brown hasn't had a big year, but I wouldn't be surprised for him to show up in big moments and save their ass because he can win one-on-one. So Philly is still legit. And if you look at their schedule down the stretch, they have one losable game. It's at Buffalo, week 17. Like they get the Cowboys, Bears, Chargers, Raiders, Commanders twice. I think that Buffalo game is really the only game that you would look at and think, okay, they have a chance to lose that one. Maybe they're not the favorite in that one because they're on the road. Everybody else, they're going to be favorites in those games. The Chargers, earlier in the season, you would have thought that's a tough matchup. But with the way their offensive line is right now, that Philly pass rush is going to eat them alive. I think Philly could make it into the postseason what, 14-3, maybe 15-2, that would make them the 1 seed, and it would make them the favorites to win the NFC.
Yeah, that's the factor that's tough on the Rams thing right now. Is Philly's going to be hard to not get the 1 seed. But great effort by them last night. Now, how about other thing we got to mention? First place Chicago Bears. Who'd have thunk that going into the year with how good Detroit and Green Bay were? Chicago 7-3, Detroit 6-4, and Green Bay I believe is 6-3-1 because they had the tie against Dallas. But I don't think Chicago's winning this division. But you got to give Ben Johnson that culture credit. They just always find a way. And I know that they've done it against a lot of bad teams. But, once again yesterday when their backs against the wall, they had Devin DuVernay had the big kick return. And they were able to win 19-17 in Minnesota. And you just got to give Ben Johnson credit. He's changed the culture. And these are the kind of games that they've been losing for years, and they found a way in all of them. And I still don't necessarily think they're like a great football team, but they're getting the most out of them. And this is only year one, and they're going to get better.
They're going to have a chance down the stretch to really prove if they're a great football team. If they end up making the playoffs, they're going to have to go through the Eagles. They've got the Packers twice. They'll have that Browns defense that could give them trouble. I don't think the Browns are good, but I think their defense is elite. Myles Garrett's a beast. They've got the 49ers and the Lions to finish up the year. They have the Steelers next week. That's the only sure game. I wouldn't even say sure.
No, that's not a sure game at all. The Bears are a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, that's the only easy game, I would say, that they have remaining on their schedule. You could see them finish up with 9 losses here. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they went 0-6 to finish up the season. Like, it really wouldn't surprise me. But if they find their way into the playoffs through going through those good teams and picking up wins, I will be highly, highly impressed.
Look, and this is year one.
A lot to them.
This is year one of Ben Johnson. If you just make the playoffs and lose a first-round playoff game, huge success year. Like, huge.
Yep.
You get the 7th seed, even if you get mauled. It's kind of like similar to the Sean Payton Bo Nix year from last year. You turn this thing around and you make the playoffs in year one. Massive success. I'm still not counting Detroit out. I know they had a bad night last night. They've got a lot of injuries. The Laporta injury really hurts them on offense, but I still think. Who would you pick out of them or the Packers or Bears? Who do you think is going to win the NFC North?
Depends on what Jordan Love shows up. I mean, my favorite unit of the two is that Packers defense. I love that Packers defense. I think having to go to Lambeau and beat them is going to be a really tough test for anybody. But my God, bro, Jordan Love. And we had a good question right here from Stone Papa Smurf. Is Green Bay better with Malik at quarterback? I don't know that I would go that far, but like, damn, Jordan Love has not looked good this season.
And Josh Jacobs getting hurt yesterday could be. I mean, that's a big issue. That's someone they can't lose. And we got to see what his status is going forward. Now, I'd say Detroit's still the favorite in that division because they've already lost at Green Bay, so they get them at home. I still believe in Detroit, even with 4 losses. I mean, you look at their losses. They lost at Green Bay, at KC, at Philly. I mean, that's 3 very understandable losses. I mean, I'm not saying that makes excuse, but that home loss to the Vikings is definitely bad. But I still believe in them.
Yeah, no, I do too. And they got the Packers again. They do have to go to the Rams. That's a tough one. But they get like the Cowboys, the Giants at home, the Steelers at home. I think they win all those games. They'll have to go beat Minnesota and earn their spot atop the division. But I think they're totally capable of doing that. Zach Holtz says, gotta love our Rams 22-1 Super Bowl bet right now. I got it at 20-1. I think you got the same thing as me.
Yeah.
I mean, gotta be loving that.
Oh, yeah, and that was such a cute to Moody. That win yesterday was so big for it, too, though, because you really got to, even if you don't get the 1 seed, you really need to win the West and get a home playoff game and not have to go on the road 3 weeks in a row to win it.
100%. Stone Papa Smurf said the Pats beat the Bills beat the Chiefs. Yeah, but it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. He also said Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback. What's your thoughts on that?
Man, I mean, I've been so wrong on my Jalen Hurts takes through the years. Look, I think top 10, I don't think he's top 3 to 5, but I mean, I top 10. Like, the thing is, they're going to run him more down the stretch when they need it in playoffs. He hadn't really been running that much this year because they're trying to protect him. But when when he's running, that gives them a whole nother element in that offense. They haven't been running that zone read at all with him this year because they're trying to keep him healthy. I mean, he's erratic passing, no doubt about it, but he's a winner. He doesn't really turn the ball over. I don't know. I'm not going to no Jalen Hurts hate. He's proved me wrong enough.
I will say this. Again, I don't think he's the best passer. You just hit every point I was going to hit. He's the perfect quarterback for Philadelphia, though, because he needs to just not lose them the games, make some plays with his legs when they need him to, run the offense, because their defense is so good. It's the best defense in the NFL. I think he is the perfect quarterback for them. And so whether or not he's putting up these elite numbers throwing the football doesn't really matter. It's about getting wins. And right now, they have tied for the best record in the NFL. So he's in the top 10 QBs in my estimates, just based on what he does for his team and what he means to his team. You take Jalen Hurts off that team, they're not 8-2. I can promise you that.
Yeah. I mean, look, everybody's doubted him forever, and he's a Super Bowl champ. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's done plenty to prove everybody wrong time and time again. I think it's like we're at a point where it'd be a fool to go against him. All right, I want to get into let's try to hit a parlay here tonight, Moody, because I think we've had the string of all these unders, but I think we finally got a game that's going to prop off tonight.
I do too. I really do. The Cowboys defense is just so damn bad, so bad.
Yeah, so let's put one together. We've got a profit boost with our friends at DraftKings. Let me see. I got to log in and see what it is right now for tonight. But they always do the profit boost for the primetime games. Love doing it. So much fun. I mean, even if you put $5 or $10 on it, it's like the most fun way you can actually make real money. Tonight we got a 25% boost. Let me see how many legs. It's 4 legs. I'm going ahead and just putting the over in as my first leg.
Okay.
We're due for an over on a primetime game. And if we're going to hit this prop, we need it. And I don't have a clue on Dallas minus 3.5. Do you? I don't have a read there.
I've seen the Cowboys lose games this season that I thought they were going to win. So taking the Cowboys minus 3 just feels nasty. I do think they win this game, but dude, I have my faith is so low in them right now. They're 1-4 on the road as well. And even though I think the Raiders suck, I can't get behind Dallas in this spot.
What do you think about Raiders money line plus 160 to get the parlay bigger?
Oh, it's like picking between, do you want to die with a knife or a sword or a gun? You know, like
no, let's stay off it.
Yeah,
let's find.
That's how I personally feel.
All right, I'm looking through the touchdown odds. I mean, Javonte Williams minus 155, Genty minus 140, Brock Bowers even money, CD plus 110, Pickens plus 150, Ferguson plus 155. I could see Trey Tucker having a game. He's plus 220.
I was waiting on you to get to his name, so that's my guy. I like 2 players to make plays tonight. I'm going to take Trey Tucker, touchdown for sure. That's on my list. I think Trey Tucker's going to have a game. They find ways to get him the ball. He is their best receiver at this point. And then I also think I'm going to throw opposite, not with the parlay, separately. I'm going to throw a Dante Thornton touchdown on there. Just because I think he's going to have to make a play. The Cowboys get beat downfield. They really don't have anybody that can run with this guy. I don't think he's a great receiver, but I think he's got elite jets. And I think tonight is the night that he finally makes a play. I'm not putting him on a parlay, but I am going to take him to get a touchdown. But I love Trey Tucker as my personal piece for the Raiders.
Thornton plus 650 touchdown.
Yeah, I'm taking it. I'm on it.
Okay, well, so all right, so far for the parlay, we got the over, we got Trey Tucker touchdown. Let's go Trey Tucker over receiving yards. I'm down to get behind that. How many do you think? How high do you boost it? You think is realistic? Is 80 too much?
I think 80 is probably the right number. What are you getting at 80?
Right now, a three legger 80, Trey Tucker touchdown and over. I adjusted the over to 53.5. We got 11-1, and we need to add a 4th leg.
Okay, it's not bad at all.
What should we do for a 4th leg? I don't hate Pickens touchdown plus 150.
I can see that too.
I mean, it's 22-1 with that. Do you have anybody else like? I could see Genty having a game, but I just don't like the minus 140.
The Cowboys' run defense is not their issue.
And they also just added Quinn. They also just added Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson, so they should be better.
Yeah, the Cowboys' run defense has not been the issue. It has been their pass defense. They get torched. I mean, I think Bowers has a good game tonight. I just think sometimes in these primetime games, the primetime players don't always show out, and so it just feels like a spot where I'm looking at Trey Tucker. This is just me. I feel like he's not the most notable name in this game, but he's one of the best talents in this game, especially if you're looking at the Raiders side of the ball. And the way the Cowboys defense is played, they've gotten torched by wide receivers. So I love Trey Tucker. I do think Bowers will have a great game, but I don't know that like we're going to be able to find any value
Yeah,
with
it's bad. It's in the
Bowers.
70s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, we got to have a fourth leg for this. We're 11.
Geno's over.
I like that. That's a great call.
Yeah.
Geno's over is too. Oh, I like that. I'm seeing it. It's in the 230s.
I mean, I think who have the Cowboys not given up 232 this season?
Yeah,
And the Cowboys' offense is going to score in this game. The Raiders should have to keep pace in this one. And Genty will probably catch some balls in this game. That's the best way to get him involved. So, like, I think Geno, as long as their offensive line can keep the Cowboys' limited pass rush at bay, Geno should be able to torch the Cowboys.
All right, let's see. I'm down to think that too. So let's go. What do you? Okay, what about Geno? Over 270 gets it to 16-1. And that's before the boost. With the boost, it's all right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what does 250 put it at?
All right, let's do 250.
Just being a little safer.
Yeah, I like that. It's set plus 1750 with the boost. Over, but I went over to 53.5. Over 53.5. Geno over 250. Trey Tucker over 80, and Trey Tucker touchdown plus 1750.
Okay. So we're in on the Raiders offense tonight, which I'm perfectly comfortable with. Just from what I've seen from the Cowboys defense this season, I don't know that Quinnen Williams is going to make that big of a difference in the passing game. I think the running game for sure. I do think it helps the pass rush a little bit, but the Cowboys' biggest issues, which they did not address in the slightest, have been in the secondary. So if they can keep Geno upright, I don't see how he couldn't throw for 250 in this game.
All right, well, and that's it, because it's hard to do the Cowboys props to me, because when they have both CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, it makes it a little tougher. With the CD, Pickens, Ferguson, Javonte, there's a lot of guys to feed. It makes it kind of tougher to call.
Agreed. Totally agree.
All right. Well, I did so over 53.5. Geno over 250. Trey Tucker over 80. Trey Tucker touchdown with the boost is plus 1750. That work, Moody?
I like it. I'm going to ride with that as well. And then also, Stone Papa Smurf said, does Thornton Jr. finally get a big catch tonight? He says, I've lost so much money on Thornton anytime touchdowns this season. Well, I'm going to find out tonight if I'm losing money on a Thornton anytime touchdown, plus 650 to get in the end zone. The thing is, he's getting more playing time now. I know they brought in Lockett, but in 3 wide receiver sets, Thornton is the 3rd wide receiver. And in this game, there's a pretty good chance we're going to see 3 wide receivers a lot against this Cowboys defense.
What do you think about it? Hey, you want to boost this parlay? You want to get it wild? You want to go Thornton over receiving yards at like big odds instead of Geno to try to hit to make this thing bigger?
It's up to you. He's risky. He's risky. If he catches one, it's probably just going to be a touchdown. You know what I mean? So like I'm perfectly comfortable just taking him to have a touchdown on like a 50-yard bomb. That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. So yeah.
Okay, well, we'll keep Thornton's risky, so let's keep him out of our parlay then. But I think I might do. All right, that is what it is. Shout out chat, we love you guys. Thank you for interacting with us here. But yeah, so that's our parlay for tonight. And once again, check out the Anus stream all week. 100,000 words in 72 hours, and then tomorrow night's After Dark with Stu Feiner, the 15-15-30 challenge, and we'll see where the Lane Kiffin saga ends up tomorrow, because it's just never ending. Who the hell knows at this point, Moody? But Ole Miss is 10-1, so I can't be upset. Oh, one other thing I want to mention, Moody, the poker thing. I played World Series of Poker, Chicago, Maine. Dude, I lose a 200K pot at 1K, 2K with aces on a just brutal river. Get knocked down to 30K, rally all the way to 160, and then I bubbled by 5 spots. Pretty tough. I was happy with the effort, though. I thought I was resilient, though. I didn't give up after the aces hand. I was down to 30K and fought back.
Yeah, I probably would have tilted and just ripped it all in the next hand after that.
Yeah, I did a good job holding it in, but yeah. But it was fun playing, for sure. All right, well, we're going to get out of here. Dude Moody, you're the man. Shout out Stella Blue and Dude Wipes. Let's hit a parlay. We're due to hit a parlay. Let's hit one tonight. Thank y'all.